is a place called that was air. The event, Heroes of the Sky, 1915, through to the Anzac, 2015. And in fact, I'm of the view that we should change that to Heroes of the Ground as well, because we'll be presenting to you both living history and on people, equipment of the last 100 years of Australian ADF, Australia's Defence Force equipment. Not only will we be able to see Australian people flying but
こにある第一次世界大戦の飛行機は全部飛行が可能だそうです。
Escorting of Allied bombers deep into German territory. And there's a case in aviation of less is more. This aircraft has a laminar flow wing, first aircraft to do so, very low drag wing, so less drag, less fuel, more range. It was a technological marvel of North America.
From a Royal Australian Air Force point of view, in 1944, 3 Squadron was equipped while based in Italy. External fuel tanks, and for the first time, we go from England to Berlin.
Escorting of Allied bombers deep into German territory. And there's a case in aviation of less is more. This aircraft has a laminar flow wing, first aircraft to do so, very low drag wing, so less drag, less fuel, more range. It was a technological marvel of North America.
From a Royal Australian Air Force point of view, in 1944, 3 Squadron was equipped while based in Italy. Now, right to left, the Boomerang, the Kitty Hawk, the B-40 Kitty Hawk, and the mighty Supermarine Spitfire.
いいよ、使っていいよ、使っていいよ。多分それあったかいよ。
Many of you coming here today on factory. This aircraft went from concept and design to manufacture and test flight in 16 weeks. That's right, 6 weeks, folks. 4 months. Can you imagine the fatigue that the organised to design and build an aircraft today in 4 months?
Second in line, of course, is the magnificent B-40 Kitty Hawk, flown by Avalon Airshow. He keeps it at all.
Australian International Airshow by the Temora Aviation Museum, and we're very thankful for their presence. This aircraft came in the colours of Bobby Gibbs, one of the true heroes of Australian aviation and Royal Australian Air Force. King Air is coming from Gippsland later on, and as these aircraft recover, you reflect that when war was declared, Winston Churchill made those statements. Therefore, Bob Menzies in Australia said, because England is at war, therefore Australia is at war.
Learn how to dream at an Aussie, told her girlfriend Mary Ann.
Mary Ann, I met a man, this is an Australian.
We had to join Bob Menzies' army.
The Right Honourable R.G. Menzies.
So, Australians, it is my melancholy duty to inform you officially that in consequence of the persistence by Germany in her invasion of Poland,
A state of law has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
Commonwealth last for 1,000 years, and will still say, this was their fighting out.
Safety and care is paramount to the Australian International Airshow organisers and those who manage this world-class pageant. A reminder to please remain behind barriers at all times. I know that is a very basic message, but we are obligated to inform you to stay behind barriers at all times. And please do not leave any bags unattended under any circumstances whatsoever. No bags unattended. And please avoid disposing of rubbish casually. Please place it in the bins. Avoid risk of engine in
and fly past. Different formation given a name based on the shape that it resembles. The wingmen, that's roulettes 2 through 6 holes. As the team comes out the bottom of the loop, they'll go into a 4G steep turn, which means that each pilot in his aircraft is experiencing 4 times the normal force of gravity. A normal pilot rules equipment such as this. Uniquely, the roulettes are The first Royal Australian Air Force aerobatic team was called the Red Sails, and they were formed in 1962, flying the Vampire jet trainer. They were disbanded shortly after and reformed. From behind now, the aircraft is fitted with ejection seats, and that is just so that the pilots can get out here. Over to the right of ground now. Coming from the right of ground again, ladies and gentlemen, is the rest of the team performing the magnificent roulette corkscrew. Whether approaching now from behind the ground is a synchro pair with roulette 6 in the difficult line of rest. The final 2 roulettes on the team are roulette 2, Flight Lieutenant Jonathan Morgan and Flight Lieutenant 3, Andrew Robinson. It's Robbo's very first season in the team and his first time performing here at Avalon.
You'll find the air crews, you'll find people who display here today during the duration of the show. That signature 10 photographs is located where you can see the 737 Qantas jet in its original livery. state government, the Citizens Australian website, it's worthy of look because of the one space plan over the next few years, the integration of one space.
about. And in fact, the importance of air in First World War is that the observer is able to look down on enemy trenches and record on his map, stuck to his knee, any new resettlements of guns, which of course will damage the next Allied attack. In fact, the importance of the air war is about reconnaissance. Yeah, we do. Isn't that a beautiful sight? I was very fortunate. I flew the Fokker triplane for about 7 years, and I know that aeroplane quite well, and I can tell you it is not. What a magnificent sight. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what air combat's about. It's getting above your opponent and at about 20 or 30 meters and shooting him in the back of the head.
Well, now we have the triplanes. They appear to have air supremacy at the moment with altitude.
They do, and as Hugh was saying, height was a gift. Very underpowered World War I aircraft, and needed the height to get the speed to close, and then to use the weapons. Incredible numbers were built. The Bristol fighter, which we saw take off before, 5,200 were built during the First World War.
I just want to talk about bombing. We're going to see some bombing today, and you've just seen an explosion centre of airfield. Now, people have a belief that in World War I, the pilots dropped bombs over the side of the aircraft. Ladies and gentlemen, that is hogwash. From 1914 to 1915, bombs were attached on underwing bomb racks, and they were released by a lever. But they didn't have a bomb sight. The pilot aimed his aircraft at his target, released his bomb and pulled the stick back and roared back up into the air.
Now, Peter Clements, you've had combat experience in the air. What we have at the moment is the two triplanes still holding altitude and I assume air supremacy. But we are going to see some interaction very shortly, I believe, if we can take yesterday as an example.
We are, Peter. The aircraft are still getting airborne. They're responding to the enemy air, which was the triplanes and some of the other German aircraft getting airborne.
I don't know what James got here.
In the day, the most remarkable thing was they used to have these big air battles where there were 50, 70 aircraft airborne at the same time.
Furballs. They were furballs. You couldn't recognise one aircraft from the other. They were twisting and turning and diving, and they were attacking each other with their double machine guns. Particularly the Fokker Eindeckers now are going to have a problem because we now have the Sopwith up in the air, and we're going to see a great air battle today here at the air show.
Later in the show, you will see some air combat manoeuvring by 3 Super Hornets. You'll remember this picture because you'll see what it is today, and it's very, very different. You had to be very close, very, very close to be able to shoot something down. Got one.
Now you can see they're twisting and turning, they're manoeuvring, they're observing, they're orienting, they're making a decision, and now they're going to attack. Getting on the tail, getting on the tail.
There's a number of aircraft out there today. We're very fortunate to have the Fokker D8. We have the Fokker D7, the Pfalz D3.
German aircraft.
German aircraft. We also have a French aircraft, the Nieuport 2, nicknamed the
Nieuport 11, Nieuport 11. Also the type flown at Gallipoli from July 1915.
Perfect.
Yes, there were Americans flying that aircraft as well. French built, British and Americans were flying it, and Australians today fly the Nieuport 11.
They did within the Royal Naval Air Service.
Right.
Okay, you can see up above we've got a Fokker triplane. It's going for height,
and it's attacking.
And of course, this really was where air combat manoeuvring was born, wasn't it? This is where every day they'd go up, try something different. Push the stick here, push the rudder there, see how it came out, see if you could end up on the tail of your opponent, because that really was what it was all about. Get close to him, as Hugh said, and shoot your guns at him.
It's where the term, I think, for aviation combat is where, you know, wait until you can see the whites of their eyes. Literally, in these aircraft, that's what you have to do.
Okay, we've got an airplane on fire. The pilot has no parachute. He's going to ride that bird down. Bye-bye. Die like an aviator.
It is a reenactment, boys and girls, purely a reenactment, a facsimile thereof.
I'm sorry, Peter, I'm getting excited. I'll back off.
In fact, getting airborne now is the Newport 11 in front of us, with the distinctive blip of the rotary engine.
You're talking about the blip, that noise, ladies and gentlemen. The engine, if you like, the whole cylinder block rotates. Instead of being fixed with pistons moving inside, the actual cylinders themselves turn around the crankshaft of the engine.
The aircraft that just went left to right, that's out on the right-hand side of the runway now, is the Fokker DR1. Sorry, not the Fokker, the Fokker EV, the D8. The German parasol monoplane fighter aircraft.
It's the size of your 16-year-old son or daughter dropped from an aeroplane. Now we'll keep our eyes on the triplanes. We're going to find that our software panel will be tested. What's great about the capitalist rotary engine is it's very tight turning. Explain that to me.
Tight turning, of course, if you can turn inside your opponent, ladies and gentlemen, you've got the advantage. If you're a wider turner, you're going to be forced outside. The guy who can turn inside can get on the tail. He's got the advantage.
Race for air superiority, with the faster aeroplanes, better maneuverability, because if you've got an outdated airplane, you're going to last about a couple of minutes up in the air.
An interesting fact is in 1919, 11 pups were a gift to the Australian Flying Corps as part of the Imperial gift upon formation of the RAF in 1921. They actually went into use of Point Corps. No gift there till 1930.
And folks, as we look at the furball, the dogfight, as you said, let's look at...
They just wouldn't have that guts to combat. Maybe they just wouldn't have their airplanes. And so it was denied to them until about 1920.
Such a significant moment and time in world history.
なんか止まるような音が大丈夫なのかね。
We see some of the camel flown by 4th Squadron, Australian Flying Corps.
For example, this aircraft has a rotary engine. As soon as it lands, the engine stops. It's only flat out or stop. So there has to be someone to meet it, to go to pull it off the runway and push it in to the hangar.
In recent years, the aircraft have formed their own story about delivery. How many years ago we never heard about aircraft? It is much alive in 2015 at the Australian International Airshow.
and a number of air-sea rescue flights as well. It finished service in the Royal Australian Air Force in 1952. This aircraft is painted black, and we had a number of Catalinas that were known as the Black Cats, and they were painted like this, were camouflage and operated behind the lines, operating from our northern shores.
So as the Catalina comes past, you can see that distinctive
Aeroplane as well, doesn't it?
has the noise, the smell, the feel.
All of it.
Well, gents, we really do appreciate the aircraft coming all the way from
personnel and civilians.